Hey, this is BTactics. Got a video here from Koro, right? It's going to talk about balance changes and fortitude changes, and I'm going to give an opinion on something. Hopefully, y'all agree with what I say in the future for what's going to happen in the future, and we're going to have to make some, or hopefully, more changes are being made to roles to actually make them balanced. But let's okay, because I want to make sure y'all can hear this. I want to make sure I can hear this nice, loud, and well.
Hey there, here is a great news for everyone. Apparently in CN 3.0.5 they changed the sum of the resonance effects for balance and fortitude resonances. As we all know, the current resonances for fortitude and balance resonance has the following effects. In 3.0,
So right here, they're gonna they are showing fortitude increased damage reduction by 25%, increased rift by 60%. I don't even know what that means. Increased aggro by 80%, reduced damage taken by another 20% when playing in a team. I don't know anything about a rift right now, so I'm actually have to check that in game. And okay, and then balance is increased final damage and damage reduction by 5%. Shatter and healing effect by 20%, and team play further boost damage reduction by 20%. Wait, they got the same buff as fortitude? That's the same thing. Reduce damage by additional 20%, reduction by 20%. Oh, okay.
0.5
I just
they
noticed
made
that.
new
That's
resonance
weird.
effects, which is as follows.
Okay, so here's a new one. Reduce damage taken by 25%, increase shatter by 60%, and increase aggro by 800%. Reduce damage taken by an additional 20%. The same thing, basically, right? Now it says, by attacking a target, you make it vulnerable to an element of your current weapon. All right? We're going to go back to that. The target will take additional damage from this element. Balance. Increase damage dealt and damage reduction by 5. Same thing. Additionally, increase shield break and healing by 20%. Same thing. In team play, damage dealt is increased by 35%, and damage reduction increased by 10%. So if you're playing balance, you get 15% more damage, I believe, and you just lost 10% survivability. But let's make sure, right? Because I'm pretty sure they. Oh, here we go. Look, so yeah, your damage reduction went down by 10%, but your damage went up by 15%. So I know balance players go, oh, that's a buff. And honestly, from that perspective, to lose 10% to gain 15%, overall, that's the buff, right? Fortitude, you're like, oh, you got something else. You can debuff enemies. That's the buff. Sure, okay. We'll go with that.
Basically, these changes are made in conjunction to
Yep,
the
they're
new
made
raid
for the
system
raids.
being implemented in CN 3.0.5.
And the raid kind of requires a
This
tank to
new
beat it
raid
to shatter.
system will have a
So,
whole lot of different
cool.
buff and debuff mechanics, with the devs even saying that the new mechanics are MMO-like in nature. Overall, these new resonances makes other roles such as healer or tank, and more importantly on balanced base team composition, very relevant on all form of modes in
Really
game.
relevant. Really
What
relevant.
do you guys think of these new resonance effects?
Okay, so they're asking, what do I think, right? What the tactics, the main fortitude person now thinks. I want to actually go back to something, right? I'm going right back to this. By attacking a target, you make it vulnerable to an element of your current weapon, right? Let's say Frost becomes meta again. That means in order to get full use of this, you will mainly need a Frost weapon. Sorry about that. So you'll be needing a main element for Frost. Saki's the best Frost weapon, but Saki is not the best Frost Fortitude. I mean, how do I say this? Saki's the best Frost Fortitude weapon, but Saki's weapon is not best for Fortitude right now. Like, yes, it's still good. It can be viable, but if it's not buffed or any kind of changes happen, first off, you're not using Lan's buff now because you only get the perk from using like her skill, and you can give your teammates 8% more damage, and frost and frost and flame resistance on top of general buffed resistance, right? So you're gonna lose that. because you're not using Lan's weapon enough. Because you got to make it frost, weak to frost at all times when it hits with Saki. Unless it can last for like a minute. It depends how long this buff lasts. But it's going to ask more for a frost lineup if frost is meta, right? So you're going to be using Saki, Lan, and potentially Tsubasa or Coco if you really main into Fortitude. The most no, you can use Frigg. Frigg would not be a bad choice, I guess. But you still have to have Saki's weapon there, and that's your main aggro weapon to taunt, to gain aggro, and you need to land hits with Saki's weapon. It's the best with the whole aggro. If you use another weapon, you can't, do enough damage, you'll lose aggro. So it's still gonna go back to using Saki's weapon. So you use Saki's weapon, another Fortitude weapon. I don't think people want to use Marrow's weapon at this point in time. You can, but that'll be the issue, right? That's if it's Frost. If it's Flame, there'll be no issue. If it's Volt, we don't have a Volt weapon, this debuff means Jack Diddley. Making it weak to, if you can make it weak to Volt without using the Volt weapon, that means you'll be having to use 2 Fortitude weapons, and you're gonna have to use a random Volt weapon. But now you don't have an element either, so you don't have your bonus resist to an element. Now, if somehow it becomes altered as being meta, and then there's an altered Fortitude, then it makes sense. So I would say we need an altered weapon now. Need an altered Fortitude weapon ASAP. And every time a weapon comes out, I hope that becomes meta, because if not, if somehow Frost becomes meta and we have to use Saki's weapon, Fortitude will be in the biggest struggle, because Saki's weapon is like mid right now. Yes, it's better than Huma's weapon, and yes, it's better than Meryl's weapon, right? But it's still mid. It's not better than Lan's weapon. If you use Lan, another Fortitude weapon, and like another flame weapon, you see the damage difference, you see the survivability difference, you see all that. But now if you go with Saki, you want to get Saki's trait, yes, you have more survivability, true. Your damage went down the drain, your team buffs, you can buff one ally, but everything else is really down the drain. So we're gonna need something. We're not gonna do enough damage probably. Trying to mainly use Saki as well, but it's gonna be told we don't do enough damage. There's gonna be one to tell you. So I would say this, if you're gonna try to go this route, you gotta give Fortitude a bigger damage reduction. I still can't believe the old version, we had the same damage reduction as balance in team play. It both went up by additional 20%, which makes no sense. But I would say increase that to 35%. Something. It's just because you want Fortitude to be able to do more damage. You might say, wait, how does that allow you to do more damage if it was a defense buff? Because we can focus more our gear more on the offense. If you focus your gear too much on the offense, you have no survivability. So you need to go to a hybrid of offense and defense. But again, 40% more damage is hard to really keep up with. Yes, we got an 800% aggro buff. Yes, we have taunts, but we're still gonna be lost in the sauce. And we're gonna be talking about how we're not needing anything but one mode. And trust me, if we're only using one mode, nobody else really wants to play Fortitude. Those 42 players you'll run into will probably be lacking stats for Fortitude. They'll struggle. It'll be more pressure on Benediction to be able to heal them, shield them, to buff. Benediction is probably the most annoying role right now, because you have to take care of bad Fortitudes and bad attackers. And that's not mentioning an insult. I'm just stating, because right now I've looked in Solaris a little bit, and I looked at some of the players. They're level 90, and their resistance is like under 5K. And I'm like, yo, you couldn't get 5K resist? You know, you can't get 1,000,000 health? Like, I think that's crazy to be this far in the game. You don't have at least 1,000,000 health. Like, I'm at 1.1, and I think that's bad. I want to be at like 1.3, 1.4. I'm 42, but even as an attacker, 1 mil, you should be able to crack 1 mil. But the balance buff, I think that's cool. But the Fortitude buff, that's It depends how much the buff is for and how long it lasts. Like if you can do if everyone can get like a 5% damage bonus in the raid or 10%, that sounds cool. Kind of, maybe. I don't know. I gotta see it. Right? But can you imagine, oh, you just do like 2% more damage. and the meta is Volt or Physical, and we don't have a Volt or Physical weapon. That buff basically is useless. I would say this, right? Instead of making it vulnerable to the weapon, make it vulnerable to all elements as long as their fortitude is holding aggro. So it gives reason for your fortitude to want to fight for aggro at all times. And as long as they have aggro, allies can do more damage. That's way easier to take care of, so it doesn't matter what weapon that they're using. Same thing with Benediction. As long as Benediction is like healing and or shielding, they should be able to buff all elements, not just based on what weapon they're using or what they have. I mean, even if they had it so like whatever weapons you're holding, it would debuff to that, that'd be cool. But I have to actually land the hits. But this says element of your current weapon. Now, if this is current weapons, weapons, plural, that's cool. But right now, I just don't think there's going to be enough of a buff for fortitude. You're still going to hear people say fortitude is useless, and you're still going to have a hard time finding players to play fortitude. Let me know how you feel about fortitude. Let me know how you feel about this balance change, right? Tell me what your favorite role is. Tell me what your least favorite role is. Sound off in the comments section. Thank you for watching the video. Like and subscribing, because you can put that subscribe button that's right over here. And don't forget, you can watch the videos over here. I want to see you in there too, all right? You enjoy yourself.